welcome back to our journey through the fascinating world of HTML. Today, we are diving deep into a critical part of web development, which is the head element. Now think of the head element as the control center for our web page. It might not display any content directly, but it holds some of the most important metadata and instruction for our browser. The head element in HTML is like a little container that holds a bunch of important stuff for our web page, and it's home for elements like title, style, meta, link, script, and base element. And now inside the head element you will find metadata. These are pieces of information about your web page that don't show up on the page itself. Elements like title, which define the title of our web page, and meta tags, which provide information like character encoding and viewport settings. The title tag nested inside the head element is like the name of our web page. It's what appears on the browser's tab or in search results. But wait, there is more. You can also link external resources like style sheets and scripts from the head element. This keeps your HTML clean and organized. Now the link tag lets us connect our HTML to an external style sheet, which allows us to apply consistent styles across our websites. And then there is the script tag. You can include JavaScript files in the head element to add interactivity and functionality to our web pages. And remember, the head element might be behind the scenes, but its impact is front and center when it comes to how your web page is presented and how users interact with it. So the next time you are crafting a web page, don't forget about the head element. It's like the conductor of an orchestra guiding everything to come together beautifully. And now it's time to learn more about the head element practically. Let's open our VS Code. As we already learned and are using some cool head elements like title, style, and link. The title element lets us change the title of our web page, while the style element allows us to apply CSS styles, and link element, which is to link our CSS file with HTML. Now first we are going to learn about meta element, which is for commonly used to specify important info like the character set, page descriptions, keywords, authors of the document, and even viewport settings. Think of it as a handy tool to optimize your web page for search engines and enhance user experience. You won't see the metadata on the page itself, but don't worry, it's still doing some important behind the scenes work. Browsers use it to figure out how to show content or refresh the page. Search engines also rely on metadata for keywords, and other web services depend on it too. So even though you can't see it, metadata is like a little helper making things run smoothly on the web. Now let's come to our practical, and I am going to show you some meta tags that we can use in building our websites. So if we use this EMIT abbreviation, which is to place the structure of our web page, just enter exclamation mark, then VS Code will suggest you this EMIT abbreviation. And by clicking this, you have this document structure in which we have our head element. And today the elements that we are using, we will just use those elements in this head element. And as you can see, we already have some elements in our head, which is 2 meta elements and 1 title element. And we already know what title element can do. It can change the title of our web page, which we can see in our browser tab right here. Now this meta tag is to define the character sets that we used in our web page. After this tag, we have this meta tag, which is to set up our viewport. And the viewport is basically what you see on your screen when you are browsing on a web page. It changes depending on the device you are using, and it's smaller on a phone but bigger on a computer screen. And we always need to include this meta tag in all our web pages. And what this code is telling the browser how to handle the size and the scaling of a web page. The width is equal to device width. This part ensures that the page width adapts to the device screen width. so it looks good on any device we are using. So when the browser first load a page, the initial scale, which is this one, is equal to 1.0, and this part determines the zoom level. It's like setting the starting point for how big or how small the page appears on our screen. And here is an example of a page without the viewport meta tag and the same web page with the viewport meta tag. And now we have this meta tag in which we have two attributes. Define the name of a piece of document level metadata. And here you can see we are using keyword, and then we have a content attribute. And here we are defining our keywords. And this meta element is used to define keywords for search engines. And after this we have this meta element. And this element is used to define the description of our web page. And after that meta element we can also add the author and the content, and this we can use to define the author of our web page. And at last we have this meta element, and this is useful if you want to refresh your page after every 30 seconds. And now we have this script element, and this script element serves a crucial purpose in web development. By enabling the inclusion and execution of client-side JavaScript code, it allows us to define and incorporate JavaScript directly within HTML document, which provide enhanced interactivity and functionality to our web pages. And we can also use this script element in our body at the bottom of our body element. And in between these two tags, we can write the JavaScript code that we want to use, like this. Here you can see we have our JavaScript function. This function is just selecting an element whose ID is para, and it's simply changing its inner HTML to hello JavaScript. And we can also use this script tag to link our external JavaScript file, like if we are working with JavaScript and we have an index.js file in our folder, we can just use source attribute like this, and in here we can provide the path of our JavaScript file like this. And after that we have to remove this because we are now using the external file to implement our JavaScript logic. Now at the end of our list we have this base element. This base element is used to define the base URL or target for all relative URLs within a page. It is important to note that the base tag must have either an href attribute, a target attribute, or both. Furthermore, it is crucial to remember that only one base element is allowed in a document. And that's it for today's exploration into the head element in HTML. And if you want to learn more about these elements, you can definitely use MDN website to learn more about these elements. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to join this exciting web development journey with us. Until next time, keep coding and keep creating. I will see you in the next video.